We arrived in St. John just in time to have a bite to eat and not be relegated to vending machine pizza, which apparently wasn't that bad. Finishing our first meal in France, we set off to find the pilgrim's office. Here we would acquire our credentials and receive our first official stamp. It's customary to attach a scallop shell to your pack. This signifies you as a pilgrim. So we decided to sit and enjoy the charm of this small French town and the buzz of excitement in the air as so many other pilgrims like us walked around in preparation for the beginnings of their journeys. After our first go at doing laundry by hand, we enjoyed an evening walk exploring St. Jean. We finished with sunset on the famous bridge over the River Nive. After an anxious night's rest, we were set to officially begin our pilgrimage. We started with such purpose and vigor, stomachs full of butterflies and toast. Little did we know we would be facing the hardest stage of the entire way on day one. But despite that challenge, you couldn't help but be charmed by the Pyrenees. With birds chirping, a rolling fog, and expansive views every way you looked, seemed every bend in the trail was more scenic than the last. As we climbed, the tree lines gave way to balds and a narrow mountain road with stunning views of the rolling hills in the valley below. I suppose the only advice I can give from two out-of-shape pilgrims is take breaks. Don't be afraid to take your time. After all, there's so much beauty here, so much to soak in. If you ever have the chance to walk the way, staying at Orson to me is a must. Then again, it's day one, so everywhere we stayed is a must as far as we're concerned. We arrived early and in time to try our first bass cake, one of our favorite treats, we think, that regrettably would be in short supply as we journeyed beyond Basque Country. But what's that they say about absence in the heart? Or maybe it was just the view. Either way, it gave us plenty of time to accommodate to albergue life. We got quite used to sleeping on bunk beds. The morning fog brought with it the distant clangs of a cowbell, a resting pack of horses, and two young bucks galloping up a mountainside. As we continued to go up, I reflected on the people we met the night before and the stories they shared. Some heartbreaking, some hopeful, others confused, looking for purpose, others still seeking adventure. I wasn't really sure about the ethics of this, but let's just assume names have been changed out of respect. Let's call them Big John and Little John, two brothers walking the way side by side, both retired teachers. And this part is purely speculation, but the two seem to have grown apart and were using the way as a means to rekindle a childhood closeness. We kept pace with them most of the day as my incessant need to film every new vista perfectly aligned with their need to rest. We discussed the efficacy of hiking poles and the weight of their bags, both common conversations between pilgrims. And by the end of the day, one of them would lose a backpack strap, as we later found out. Interestingly, in our bunk of 6, we had 2 separate Austrians, and the 2 of them couldn't have been less alike. Anthony was a jovial, seasoned hiker, fresh off a knee surgery and determined to walk the way, and I'm sure the climb put that to the test. On the other hand, Henry was the troubled Austrian, looking for his heart. With little to no backpacking experience, it was clear that the first few days had overwhelmed him. Seeing him carry his bag for the first time on the second day, I noticed it was riding quite low. We ran into him later and I helped him adjust his straps to get his weight higher and sent him on his way. I guess that was my good deed for the day. Mary and Cam were fellow Americans with a penchant for vending machine pizza and spontaneity, as they only planned their Camino 2 weeks prior and had nearly zero planned beyond the first 2 days. We would later find out they ditched the Francis entirely and decided to head to Portugal and complete the Portuguese route instead. As we crossed the border into Spain, we entered the first stint of tree cover, and down we went for a nice change of pace. Only just out of frame is a father and son from Dublin on their first Camino. The son made his own pack from an old boat cover, deck chair fabric, and rugby jerseys. Really quite the craftsman. I regret not asking to video it, but I was so intrigued it slipped my mind. Perhaps we'll bump into them later. We didn't. Roncesvalles was our first stay in Spain, an old monastery converted into a massive albergue. With its huge open corridors, this was our first real battle with an army of snorers. And after 2 straight days of climbing, rest was needed. So we spent the evening rubbing our sore legs and enjoying our first Spanish sunset with beer in hand and not a care in the world. And now I will leave you with what I've affectionately named the Symphony of Snores.